welcome to my channel! So today we are going to be doing what I call a book talk. Now, a book talk is not a book review. Here's the difference. Book reviews is like things that you have to talk about. Mine is supposed to be more kind of like a mukbang, a mukbang, however you pronounce that kind of a situation. For those of you who don't know what that is, it's when people are like eating and just talking to you. That's what I want from my video, except without the eating. I'm just going to be talking to you and it should feel like a conversation. Which means that in all of my book talk videos, there will be spoilers. So, now is the time to click away if you have not read the Fifth Wave series by Rick Yancey. Now, go, do it. Click off. You still here? I hope you read the book because I'm about to spoil some stuff for you. Okay, so this is my version of the first book, and it is destroyed because I'm an awful human being. Look at that. I don't know what to tell you guys. I know a lot of you guys are cringing in your couches, in your beds, wherever you watch your YouTube. You're cringing right now at home, and I apologize for this. I can't explain it. This book I loved. It was the book that got me into reading for enjoyment. Before this, I was trying to read because I knew that you're supposed to read and it's good for you. But this book, I just could not put down. I just wanted to know what was happening next. I was immediately invested in Cassie as a character. And almost so much so that it was kind of a fault, because every time I was reading about someone else, I was like, ooh, get me back to Cassie. Especially Zombie. I was very bored by Zombie, but I was so invested in the book that I was like, okay, I just want to read more. I just want to read more. A few things in this. One, I had watched a video where someone talked about the fact that they didn't like my favorite part in the book. So I would love for you to leave a comment below saying if you love this or if you hated it. But I absolutely loved when Cassie met the silencer, or met Evan, and she didn't know he was a silencer, and she was like going back and forth between having a crush on him and not trusting him at all. And you as the reader were like, or me as the reader were like, no, it can't be. Oh, but that'd be so good for the story. But no, it can't be. No, I want them to just, be little love mates and little love birds and love each other. But then you were like, oh, but it would be so good if he was a silencer. I would just love that so much. That's how I was feeling during that part. But I guess some people feel like it was just too predictable. I didn't care. That's the kind of predictable that I like. Like, where you're like, you know it's the truth, but you don't want it to be. I was totally fine with that. I loved that feeling as a reader. One thing I did not like, though, hear me out, tell me if anyone else, Cassie was the bomb. Cassie was a strong lead. She was just tearing through. So how come at the end, Zombie needed to save her? Zombie straight up had been shot through his body, and the stitches were like falling out. He was like bleeding. And he was so weak. You could just see it. It was depicted very well in the story how weak he was. So tell me how come Cassie was running with Nugget on her back like this. She was going. And then Zombie thought he was going to be slick and grab Nugget right up off Cassie's back. And she still fell down. That just felt so unnecessary to me. Like, why couldn't the Zombie have fallen down and Cassie have picked up Zombie? Like, why did Cassie have to be weak in that moment? There are times where Cassie has weakness, but I felt like she was just a female who had to be saved by a man. It just didn't feel like, no matter how strong Cassie was, Zombie was always going to be stronger, even though Zombie was weak. And I just did not like that part of the book. I was like, can't you just be a strong female? Like, can't she? Does she have to have that as her weakness? She already has a bunch of weaknesses and flaws in this book, so why does that have to be one of them too? That kind of riled me. I don't know, agree or disagree in the comments below, I'll be watching. It's only like none of you right now, so if I get a comment, I'll be very happy. So next we have a book 2, which I was so excited to get. I ordered online immediately after finishing that one. Then I went to a bookstore and I saw it in there. And I was like, why did I order it online? I could have it right now if I didn't order it online. I was so disappointed. I wasn't going to spend my money twice though, because I didn't got bank like that. So anyways, this is The Infinite Sea by Rick Yancey. And it was a infinite letdown because this book was not my favorite. If there wasn't a third book, I wouldn't have continued reading because this was just boring out of my mind. I don't know if it's because I was invested in Cassie as a character and pretty much everyone but Ringer in the first book, and then it was like this book was all about Ringer, who you kind of knew from the first book. It just was really blah to me. Oh geez. Ooh, let me get some water. Ooh, she needs some milk. But I don't know if it was just because, like, I was invested in all the other characters except for Ringer, or if it was because they made Ringer and Cassie enemies, and so I basically felt like I had to choose between loving Cassie or loving Ringer, and I was invested in Cassie. She was my homegirl since chapter 1. But I just was not feeling this book at all. It was like a lot to get through. I was invested in the story, so I was able to keep reading, but I was really like, this is not good. And also, what the heck was Vash doing in this book? Really? Vash was just like, I'm just going to tell Ringer stuff because. Like, there was no reason for it. He was just like, I'm going to just spill information that I don't tell to anyone as the bad guy just because then people who are reading it will know this information. It did not make sense for Vash to tell Ringer the stuff that Vash was telling Ringer. It didn't. There was no reason. And I wished that in the last book that would have changed, but it didn't. So we're going to move on to the next book, The Last Star. But straight up, if you read The Last Star, you know that Vash's love for Ringer, it does not make sense. I was so confused by that. I was like, why did you throw that in? I don't understand. You see Ringer so in yourself, and so you're just gonna... What? I did... Vaj, thumbs down. I don't know what you were doing. Also, the beginning of this book, I still found... Well, most of this book I still found dull. Except for OG Nugget, when he pulled out that gun and shot that silencer, I was like, oh snap! I was not ready for that. So I love Nugget, and I wanted him to just stay little innocent Nugget. And I was like, stop trying to grow up. Stop trying to grow up, Nugget. You're a little Nugget, and you'll stay that way for the rest of your life. Cassie will just take care of you, and you just need to stop trying to grow up. And then when he had that gun, and he shot the silencer, I was just like so conflicted, but it was so good at the same time because you felt exactly how everyone else was feeling in that room. Like, I don't know about you, when Nugget first picked up the gun, I was like, boy, don't shoot yourself. And then he went and did that OG move, and I was just not ready for it. Okay, and then the ending, and I was so happy with the ending. I didn't think I was going to be. I was getting real close to the end, and I was like, this better be good, because I just read a lot for this to not be good. But it was. It came full circle, just like my head. I was so happy. It was like, when they read that prayer, when she said the prayer before she blew up, I was like, oh my God, I didn't even think that was important to the story. It was just a little thing they did. I loved that. And then I was like, what's happening over here? Did Cassie make it? I was really hoping in my heart. I knew she blew up, but I was like, I hope she didn't. Like, she did. But they named the baby Cassie, and I cried. And I was thinking of Nugget without his sister, and I cried. And I think the ending could have been better, but I was very content with it in the end. And I was glad that it wasn't a story that ended in love, especially because neither of those loves made any sense, because we had Zombie, who didn't ever notice Cassie before and then randomly kissed her like twice for no reason. And then we had Evan, who was a stage 5 clinger. I mean, I liked him in the book, but let's be real. If you knew a friend who had an Evan, you would be like, girl, get out, run, run. Because he was too much, too fast. So anyways, please make sure to like and subscribe. Please. I am begging you. I have no subscribers right now. I really need you to stop, like, subscribe, and comment. When I start getting people subscribed and you were an OG since day one, you can just cut me off. You can just delete the subscriber. But I need you now. If you found my video, I need you to help a girl out right now and subscribe to my video. So I'll be putting up new videos as I finish new books. And there should be at least a video weekly, if not more than that. So if you liked what you saw, or if you didn't, but you just want to help a girl out, peace.